YouTube, what's up? What's going on? Mike the Fit Prince with Kingdom Fit Productions once again. It is your host, Mike the Fit Prince, here with another episode. And yep, it's a good Saturday, good day to really get some content going, get some content flowing. Good to see y'all again. Hope you guys are enjoying this beautiful day and whatnot. Just make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe. Turn your post notifications on so that you're notified when I'm dropping new content. And hey, share the videos if you like what you're hearing. Share the videos, please. Really get the information out. It's not just for you. It is for those who are trying to change their lives for the better. It's for those who are trying to be kingdom fit. It's for those who are really trying to become the best version of themselves. But also understanding that the best version of yourself can turn you into the worst version of yourself. That's right, folks. That is exactly right. Being the best version of yourself, trying to attain to a level higher than you could possibly imagine, has its drawbacks. It has its consequences. It has its doors that it can that can lead you into one of the more serious sins, I would say, one of the more serious detriments to mankind. Mankind struggles with a lot of pride. Mankind struggles with a lot of self righteousness, a lot of things that society pushes today. They push on people based on human tradition, human law, human culture, man's ways of doing things. We put our trust in that, and we want to make sure that we're upholding that standard. And if we don't, then we're pretty much touted as, I guess, black sheep and uncompliant, I guess, where we are basically portrayed as going against the grain and non-compliable, right? So if one isn't worried about becoming the best version of themselves, if one isn't worried about trying to obtain the nicest watch, obtain the nicest clothes, get the nicest haircut. I don't have a haircut right now, but trying to looks max and do these different things, smell the best, and trying to reach a level in life, financially and otherwise, to make it seem as if they have, oh, sorry guys, to make it seem as if they're living the life that everybody should want and everybody should strive for. Now, let me put it to you this way, because what I am not saying, my disclaimer is that I'm not saying that nobody should be striving to become the better in certain areas that they might be lacking, whether it might be their hygiene, whether it might be their speech, whether it might be their looks. You want to look max, absolutely. You want to look the best. You want to be presentable. You want to make as much money as you probably possibly can handle. You want to get to a certain level. Maybe if you desire to be corporate, if you desire to own your own business, you want that business to be as successful as it can be. I think that's something in stuttering, bro. Yeah, I gotta work on my speech. You know what I mean? Um, it's something in us, innate, ingrained, to want to do better. Now, some of us also are a bit too lazy. Some of us aren't really taking life as serious as we ought to. And that is a problem as well. That's a bit of an extreme. Now, but the extreme we're gonna go to is trusting that these things make you somehow righteous. These things make you somehow desirable in God's eyes. These things somehow make you truly pleasant, especially for us Christians, especially for those who believe in the Bible and things like that. You can't trust in your own efforts to try to be better than you were yesterday and think that you're going to be in the right standing with God based off of that. You can't look at life as some test and you're trying to strive for a 100. You know what I mean? Because again, we've all failed. We've got a 0 because it takes one sin to get a 0 on that test in God's eyes. You know what I mean? There's no 50, there's no 60, there's no D, F, A, there's no B's and C's. You know what I mean? There's no grading scale. This isn't what this is, guys. Life isn't about that. Life is about, yes, enjoying the pleasures of this life, not to the degree that it takes you into idolatry and that it takes you into a sense of pride where you're commanding other people to live and do the same things or to kind of just live the same type of lifestyle that you're trying to live, right? Because you're trying to get people to trust in their own works. You're trying to get people to trust in yourself. So, you're trusting in yourself and your own human efforts to be, the best version of yourself. But becoming the best version of yourself has nothing to do with the outward appearance, right? Maybe in a sense, on the earthly level, in a worldly sense, yeah, that makes sense. Like, oh yeah, you want to be the best looking, you want to be the best financially, you want to be the best business wise, you want to be the best in bed, you want to be the best with hygiene wise, you want to be the best in whatever you're doing. You see what I'm saying? You want to be the best actor, comedian, things like that. Right? And there's nothing wrong also, let's get into another one. There's nothing wrong also, make sure I'm not on mute. There's nothing wrong also with developing your skills, developing your skill set, making it the best that it can be. However, idolization is a thing too. Becoming prideful in what you're doing, allowing you to get to such a high level that now when you look at somebody who's not where you are, you're going to start looking at them as, I don't know, with a sense of partiality, with a sense of respect of persons, right? You start to do that. And when you start to do that, now you're acting out of love. So being the best version of yourself has nothing to do, guys, with this doctrine and this teaching and this thing of self-improvement out there they're talking about. Now, we talk about self-improvement, but we're coming from a biblical perspective, though. When we talk about self-improvement, we're not talking about the outward appearance, all the gold chains and all the aesthetics and outward appearance things that attract people to you. What we really need to start focusing on is the inner man. You want to become the best version of yourself, you must start with the inner man. And that's pretty much the whole thing. That's pretty much what I've always been talking about on this channel. I always talked about the inner man. The inner man is more important. You can't neglect the inside. You cannot neglect the person that you are and the things that are coming outside of you, that are coming from within and coming out of your mouth, because they all start from within in the heart or your mind. You know what I mean? They all start up here. And once they start up here, you internalize it. You pretty much, internalize it. And you now bring that out. You bring that out of your mouth to now reveal your true intentions, your true heart, who you truly are. You don't want to just become the best version of yourself on the outward appearance, but people are seeing that. People are seeing the outward appearance, and thinking that, oh yeah, he's this way, he's that way. No, it's all inside. You start developing the characteristics and traits that you have inside, and then people are really going to know. It's about your actions. It's about your goodwill or your bad will to somebody else. All right? So you don't want to trust in yourself financially. You don't want to trust in yourself physically, all the muscles and everything like that. Nah, you don't want to do that. All these things are good. You want to get your finances in order. You want to get your physicality, the muscles. You want to get the agility. You want to have the functionality of your body so that it can perform to the utmost performance, to the utmost ability. You want to develop yourself mentally, mental health and mental stability, emotional stability, and everything like that. You're pretty much going in these different areas and augmenting them, but then you gotta have a level of humility. At the end of the day, can you still be humble and say, I can still learn? I've reached to a point, because see, there's a point where you may reach and you're just like, oh yeah, I've gotten to where I want to go, and now I'm gonna start acting different. A lot of people get that way, and that's when the pride comes in, and that's where hatred comes in. That's when partiality comes in. You see what I'm saying? That's when you start becoming arrogant. And those things turn you into the worst version of yourself. Because why? Those are the works of the flesh. The works of the flesh are manifest through your ability to try to do things on your own, to trust in your own self. You're trusting in your own self to become righteous. You're trusting in your own self to try to get approval from other people, when really you should be looking internally and seeing what you can change on the inside. Your character, your morality, your view towards God, your view towards your fellow man. You see what I'm saying? All these different things. Like, listen, finances and all these things that attract people, and what people see on the outside and what people see when you speak to them or hear, yeah, it may allure them, and you may give a perception of the best version of yourself. But again, what's done in the dark shall come to the light. What's hidden, all the secret things shall be found out. Just know that and understand. Your self-glory. A lot of times you get to such a high point and you glorify yourself. You start glorifying all the attributes and accolades and all the things you've overcome. And those things take precedent above your love towards your fellow man. Those things take precedent above the fruits of the Spirit: peace, keeping joy amongst not only yourself but other people, humility, patience, and long suffering. Sometimes people will be like, I'm not going to be as patient with people no more. I'm at a certain point in my life where I can't. No, 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 no. Oh well, not everybody gonna get my time. Not everybody's gonna have access to me. No, 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 no. That's pride, bro. You see what I'm saying? We got to get out of that mindset. I understand that if people aren't really, not necessarily adding value, but if people aren't operating on a righteous frequency, on a good frequency with you, even if they're not where you are at, as far as like where your level is at, as what you would claim. I understand that people are operating unrighteously and wickedly around you, and you don't want to yoke yourself or entrap yourself with people like that. You want to keep the energy positive. You want to keep the energy righteous. You see, you do. But it's not that you look down on those who are wicked. It's not that you look down on those who are living a certain lifestyle that you may not agree with. But at the end of the day, you got to protect yourself as well. So I'm not saying that's wrong. But again, you don't want to lose love. You don't want to lose humility. You don't want to lose joy, and you don't want to lose peace. You don't want to lose meekness. You don't want to lose love, charity. Right? Because again, at the end of the day, Jesus Christ showed all these things. He wasn't the best dressed, most likely. He wasn't the best looking. right? He didn't have all the money in the world, hardly had a place to lay his head. He wasn't he wasn't getting like he wasn't favored. You know what I mean? This guy wasn't worried about that. Jesus Christ was not worried about that. He was worried about what was real. He was worried about the truth, the mercy, the love, the weightier matters of law, the weightier matters of how humans should interact, mercy, faith, judgment, justice, right? Not judgment as in, judging people just based off of outward appearance and based off of like what you perceive. No, righteous judgment, righteously judging and righteously discerning, right? The fruits of the Spirit, the results of the Holy Spirit, yo. That's what you want. Even if you don't believe, you must understand that these things aren't bad in and of themselves. And you can always live your life according to this, right? You can always live your life in a humble way. And you don't have to look down on somebody else just because you're at a certain level. You don't have to do that. You can always make sure that you keep yourself in a loving state, a helper, a helping hand, a unit, and keep yourself in a unifying spirit. Don't divide. Don't divide because of how much money you got. Don't divide because of the mental the mental capacity that you could possibly, attain to. You don't divide yourself from other people or your family because uh you just have a lot of knowledge and understanding and wisdom. You see, if you have a lot of knowledge, because if you had wisdom, if you were smart, you probably would look to avoid trying to separate yourself from your family. But again, who's really going to take heed to that? You see, who's now again, just a question out there: who's going to put their pride to the side, and regardless of where they at in their life, regardless of whatever best version they might want to attain to, how are you going to treat your fellow neighbor? Are you going to get up so high that you think you just can't be around certain people because they're just not on your level? Or are you actually going to take a different approach? Are you going to take the approach that, okay, he may not be on my level, but I'm going to help him get there? If he wants help or if she wants help, I'm going to be there for them when they need it. I'm going to be willing to give if I'm able and willing to give, if I'm able to give. Just keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Think of Jesus Christ and the work that he's completed and the work that he did. Regardless of his appearance, regardless of where he was physically in the earth, he was on a much higher level, much higher frequency than we could possibly imagine. Despite the hate, despite the jealousy, despite the envy, and despite all the evil and unrighteous, wicked behavior and actions that he had to tolerate from amongst those who were against him, from amongst those who couldn't see, all the atrocities, all the blasphemies that he had to endure, the revilings, the hatred. Just think about that, but you still humble yourself because they were operating on a lower frequency. And Christ said, nah, we don't render evil for evil, because you know what? The work that I'm doing now is greater. Oh, somebody's in trouble, I think. Heard some sirens out there. But guys, make sure you like this video. Make sure you comment. Make sure you share this video as well. Turn your post notifications on and subscribe so that you're notified when I'm putting out new content, and share it. It's not just for you guys. If you found value in this video, if you think other people can find value, feel free to share it. Feel free to just, talk about it. Feel free to put people on. And hey, let's be Kingdom Fit. Let's continue to grow. Let's continue to build. Let's continue to do what we got to do out here and become the best versions of yourselves. Just don't let it turn you into the worst version of yourself. Right? Because pride will send you straight down below. Catch y'all later. Peace out.